Ladies and gentlemen, we've got another pairing now, very, very exciting couple here from the ground handling community. And here we are again at the ACHL digital event. And the two colleagues I've got in mention are Barbara Cole, who's the marketing communications manager for the Alha group. So Barbara, welcome. Lovely to see you.
Thank you, Chris, for this invitation, for inviting me to join this session. And good morning, everyone.
It's an absolute pleasure. And Christopher Licht, who's the Chief Operations Officer for Celebi Frankfurt Cargo. So Christopher, welcome as well, sir.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'm glad to be here to join the show.
Very, very good. Now, guys, on the digital event, we're covering the subject matter of from crisis to care. So just, letting everybody know how the aviation community cares about what's been happening and, some of this practical side, the impacts and the decisions have been tough, but also, people are still caring about the outcomes, etc. And also that genuine collaboration and initiatives is the way that we'll all come through this as successfully as possible. So to start, what I'd like to ask you both is, as leaders, individuals, and from your company perspective, how has this last 4 or 5 months affected your business and your business community? So firstly, Christopher.
Yeah, so when we are looking from March onwards to now, so it was a very tough time for us, of course, like for everybody in the industry, and we had a lot of fluctuations in volumes. We had a lot of changing situations with our airline customers. So when we think about March, it was almost a daily change in informations. So we had to adjust our strategy almost on a daily, sometimes on an hourly basis. So it was not like that we had to make a plan for next couple of days. It was really for a couple of hours, and a couple of hours later, you get information that the whole situation changed again. So this takes a couple of weeks until I guess the airlines are used to the situation. We as a ground handling agent are used to the situation, and the entire airport community was used to the situation. And I can say that I'm very proud of my team and also proud of the organization and the community in Frankfurt, how we managed the crisis until now. And I guess there are so many positive things already, which we will bring forward and which we will work on, which was never the case before. So there were some crises in the past, but I guess this crisis was managed the best way. Yeah. So therefore, I'm really looking forward to tell you later on how we manage it and how we communicate with each other in the community.
Very good, very good, and glad it's had a positive impact as well. And Barbara, similar question to you, and also the impact of these ghost flights and disruptive schedules that everybody has had to handle over the last few months.
What we have seen here in Italy, especially during the first couple of weeks in March, I have to say, since the last 2 weeks in February, for this emergency has caught us in Italy totally, I have to admit, as a country, unprepared and impressed, surprised, but by what was going on in our country only at the very beginning. It was scary for everyone. This feeling is something I have to mention today because it has not been easy, also on a personal perspective, to face the situation, since all of us, also as managers in a company, I think all of us, we have been scared and worried about the health and safety of our workers. As said, what we have experienced here has been so sudden and disruptive on a personal perspective that the first concern for us since the very beginning was to keep our people safe at work. Because of course we had to, and we managed to keep our facilities open, including those who were in the very epicenter of this epidemic. So we have our major activities in Lombardy.
Yeah.
So you all know what happened in early March in Lombardy. So many deaths, so many losses. Everyone here has lost someone or knows someone who has died from the epidemic, and it has been so scary when all the world was staring at us and wondering what was happening. Everybody was so worried. A lot of friends from the community or around the globe were contacted me at every time, day and night, asking me what was going on.
Yeah.
When we started our lockdown, everything was so difficult. So I need to mention this because it's been living it here. You know, Alha is a local area. We're based in Italy. Our activities are here. And the perspective I will give you today is a very local perspective based on my country and what we have experienced here. But this is something I have to mention to tell you what happened and how this has had an impact, a positive impact. And I am personally involved in this as I am in charge also for internal communication. I mean, I think that the biggest impact we have seen and we have learned from this experience is how to communicate and get our people involved, engaged, informed, prepared, and aware for anything that could keep them safer and that could make our work easier and secure. So this has had a great impact on us. I've been personally involved a lot with all departments, including HR, health and safety, and I think it has helped a lot changing our entire mindset. So I think this is one of the best legacy we need to consider and keep alive after this first 6 months, because it's not over.
Yeah. No,
we need to stay focused.
Definitely not over, Barbara. But
yeah.
I think what you touched on there, and for everybody, including Christoph in Frankfurt, you know, huge respect, and you know, we need to remember all the people that, you know, it's affected so much, and it's incredible what everybody's done across the aviation sector, but also lots of other industries, especially in the health, and it's made people appreciate so much that the things that you take for granted as soon as you wake up, walk out your door, go to work, all those things require people to keep that moving for us, and to everybody, you know, incredible what they've done. Now, with that in mind, and what Barbara's just said, Christopher, about the you know, the people having to work throughout the worst of it. I mean, obviously, and you've got a safety and security background, Christopher. So from a safety perspective, you know, people have to be aware of what they should and shouldn't do. And even though there was so much talk about the two biggest offences being, you know, hygiene, wash, and also the social distancing, for people doing things at the airport, the social distancing is very difficult, which is why the best mitigation thereafter is obviously wearing the correct PPE, and especially the masks. And I was so surprised and in fact disappointed at so many experts saying that, you know, the masks weren't relevant. Well, clearly they are relevant. So Christopher, can you just explain what sort of major issues did you put in place to ensure the well-being of your teams with regards to PPE, and especially some of the mitigating factors that you would have had to do, especially when handling, as they've been called now, praetors?
So, of course, when the whole situation started, we appointed one dedicated staff, one of our managers who was responsible for the entire pandemic situation, who was in charge also to communicating with the authorities. So he take over the whole lead in cooperation with our holding company, with our headquarters in Istanbul. And so we had daily updates. We judged the situation day by day. And we had a lot of challenges, especially in the beginning, to get PPE. Yeah, so I guess everybody had the same problem in order to get the equipment for the stuff. And we had the luck that our responsible person for the pandemic was able to get enough PPE in order to protect our stuff, because the whole PPE which comes in on the charters in March and April coming from China. So all of our stuff was very scared to touch the boxes. Nobody was knowing, is it, can the virus live on these boxes, and can we infect ourselves when we touch the boxes? So it was a very tough thing in order to inform our staff correctly, that we get the right information from the authority, how we can deal with the situation. And especially, as you said, the normal things like washing hands. Of course, we publish it in our e-school, which means we have a kind of an app where we can put all these informations in, and our staff can easily access them via our e-school app, which makes it possible for everybody, even the blue-collar workers, because today everybody have a mobile phone, to get these informations. So we push the information to the staff. They can easily access the guides. So it was very easy. We make it as easy as possible to understand for the staff. And finally, we had also, or we get a lot of feedback from the blue collars that it's very hard for them to work in the warehouse, where we had in April almost high temperatures. It was not that that it was like a high summer, but it was 20-25 degrees. You're working in a warehouse. You need to offload ULDs with hundreds of pieces. By wearing a mask is put additional pressure and additional constraints to the body of the staff. So these are all things we had to consider, and I need to say that we managed it very well, and our staff accepted also the measures, and we had to control it, of course, in the beginning. But now it becomes a habit, and it's something which is a normal process already, that when staff go to work, that they wear their mask, that they have to disinfect their fingers, and they wear gloves. And so this is something which is now coming in the new normal, as we are all talk about the new normal. It's the new normal. We need to live with this, and I need to say that when we look back on the last couple of months, the staff was not only accepting it, but also they were the role model. So when we had other workers are coming, that they see immediately, okay, it's not only because he's a supervisor, he wears it. So everybody transferred to the next, and therefore it was very successful. And until now, I can say that, I need to touch wood, we had not a single positive case in Frankfurt. So it is a very good sign that our measures were very fruitful at the end of the day.
That's fantastic, Christopher.
Hopefully it will stay like this. We don't know. So
please God. Yeah. And Barbara, from your experience?
Oh, well, what we have experienced, or what we have put in place is quite similar to what Christopher has explained, and luckily, touching wood, same for us. We have had recording until today, 0 positives, which for me is unbelievable still, because I was waking up every day, especially in March, April, knowing that, or expecting that we could have had to close the warehouses in Lombardy. Yet what we have done since the very beginning, there is something I want to share with you. I want to tell you that this happened the last week of February. You know, the first cases in Lombardy showed up around the 21st, 22nd of February. Me personally, I immediately understood that the situation was going to go out of control. So I thought, well, we need to put in place something in our warehouses and offices. We need to work on information, awareness to our staff. I wanted to prepare some posters and signage and any kind of information material you could put on the walls. But I have no elements. I didn't know what to write on them. So I contacted a friend in the industry who's based in Singapore, and asked him if he had anything going back to the previous SARS epidemics. He was so kind to share with me a lot of material, which I translated. I took some ideas. I also reconsidered the way you have to explain to our staff, our people living in Italy, that they have to stay far from each other. They don't have to shake hands. They don't have to hug. They don't have, there's a lot about culture that you need to change, old habits. So at first, we both work in a digital information environment. So we created a website, and we created it in one night, literally. So it was available since the beginning of March to all our staff. We distributed it through an, of course, a mobile contact tool that we have. It's completely mobile friendly. It includes all the guidelines, health and safety and hygiene, social distancing rules, any information also about the government instructions which we were receiving, and they were changing on a weekly basis by that time. And also we have included in this website a communication tool, a two-way communication tool with which we have been receiving so many suggestions, comments, requests for information by all our staff. The same as Christopher said, we have made sure that these tools were easily accessible and ready to use for any person in our staff, including blue collars, which of course were our biggest concern, because we know that when you have to lift a box, you will stay close to your colleague. You will need to put extra attention. You will need to make a big effort to do a job in a hot environment during 8 hours when you're getting tired, wearing a mask. So they were our biggest concern. And also we have deployed a self-learning program, based on a very easy and accessible mobile technology, so easily readable on any mobile device.
Very good.
Yes, this was deployed very soon too. And again, it's all been about engagement, information, education, and I think that the response has been impressive. You know, everybody was scared. Everybody was asking for information. Everybody was hoping to rely on a company that
gives the right information.
Gives you the right information and cares for you, cares for your safety. What we have seen during those months has not been the same. You know, working at the airports, your staff gets in touch with a lot of people working for other companies, and not everybody was following the rules. So a lot of truck drivers came here and had no idea of what they had to do or what they had to adhere to. So of course, internally we have seen a lot of commitment from our staff, but we also had to put some people, for instance, at the entrance gates, making sure that also the other staff from other companies show the same compliance, which was important, of course.
Exactly, Barbara. Now, Christopher, can I just put you in on that particular area there? As far as the airports have been concerned, do you feel that they've fully integrated and supported? Because obviously, as the heads of their own ecosystem with all their tenants and parties coming in and out, has there been enough clarity and collaboration there, in your opinion?
Actually, what we did or what was installed very quickly after we all understand about the situation, the airport or air cargo community in Frankfurt activated weekly calls. So that was a very fruitful thing, because we had weekly landside and weekly airside calls, which means we talked with the forwarders, the truckers, and we talked also with the airport and also with other stakeholders on airside. in order to communicate and create transparency. And in these calls, the main stakeholders were represented, and this gives us the opportunity to communicate the measures we put in place directly with external companies. So it was shared very quickly at the entire communication community. And therefore it was at the end, it took, of course, it took a couple of times. So it was not like that after 1 week, everything was fine. We had a lot of issues because of private customers. A lot of private customers went to the airport, which is not normal. And so we had to bring them the information when they are arriving at the airport, when they're entering the airport. Yeah. They need to be aware that you will not be able to enter, you will not be able to get your cargo when you don't follow the rules. And it took some time, but after 2 weeks, it was probably implemented. And because of these weekly calls, we were really able to bring it to the entire community. But of course, the private customers and the organizations like hospitals, etc., which wants to pick up the cargo, they were not in this community. So for them, of course, we had to communicate verbally. We had to bring it to them with signs, with communication by staff which is walking around and tell them what they need to do. So this was a kind of a tough situation until we get them all, let's say, compliant to the rules. And the good thing was that even our competition were in the call, so we were aligned. So it was not like that we did something totally different than the others. Yeah. So we try to get it very uniform and a uniform style to all of us, in order to make it also easy for the externals coming to the airport. Yeah.
Yeah, no, very good, and that's why it's important for an airport community to be consistent in time.
Yeah.
Okay, now guys, moving forward, and I'm no expert by any means, but just looking at data and looking at what's happening, there's definitely going to be a second wave of sorts, whether it's going to be the same, whether it's going to have the same impact, but there's definitely going to be a second wave. So there's going to be lots of variables again. Barbara, can I ask you, with regards to the need for digitization and the amount of times and effort that so many people have put into the requirement for our industry to digitize, with now the hygienic argument with regards to the amount of times airway bills and documents have to be touched, do you think this now is the catalyst to drive some real change and start to take away that element out of the business, especially for the ground handling agent community?
I do hope so. Because, I have approached this experience with a very positive attitude. I think we will keep positive legacies from this. The theme of digitalization in the air cargo industry took longer than expected, or longer than in other industries to develop and to actually become the new normal. I want to be positive about this. It really makes sense. And I hope this experience will boost these initiatives. I don't want to say this will happen, but let's say I want to be confident with that.
But do you not think now is the time where, whether it's from an airport or from an AOCC group or whatever, that somebody says enough's enough, from such and such a date we have to go zero docs? It
is, but until the day that someone will say or will define a date, a deadline, I think this team is bringing it's keeping being postponed, and
yep.
Let's be positive, and I hope that someone will.
But you think that
will lead in this.
You do think, though, that collectively the industry should say enough's enough. This is the catalyst, and now this is the common sense approach. This should be done.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's. I guess this crisis demonstrates that we need digitalization in order to be more flexible. When we think about not maybe, of course, in our industry, a blue collar will be always in the warehouse. You will not be able to work from home or remotely. But nevertheless, the administration is definitely able to work remotely. And when we not look on our industry, there were a couple of industries which survives during this month because of remotely working, have the possibility to work remotely, have all the systems accessible to work remotely. So I guess this crisis is a push for digitalization. I agree with Barbara that there's a possibility that it will be still take some time, and it will not happen from one day to another. But I guess it's the right timing now, because when we are not doing it now, it will be very difficult to survive a next crisis like this, or the next wave or something, where we need to have digitalization in order to go forward and to further develop the industry. Yeah? So I guess we will not be able to escape from this now. Digitalization was used, in my opinion, the last couple of years more as a marketing tool. Everybody was talking about digitalization, but nobody carries out at the end. And therefore, I guess now it's time to that it become the truth. Yeah. So everybody needs to look into his own sector and need to check what is the best possibility to implement digitalization step by step. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I absolutely. I think we have to do it now, because this experience has changed the mindset for all of us. I mean, everybody has understood how useful and essential is the possibility to rely on digital tools. As a company, we felt so lucky. We had switched to cloud-based services and collaboration tools, sharing tools that allowed us, for those functions who could work remotely, to switch immediately. Me personally and many other people in our administration switch immediately to remote working with no hassle, because we have no servers. It's all cloud-based. We're used to use collaboration tools. And when the time came to make decisions, almost more than 10 years ago, our IT guys, were it was challenging for us to convince everybody to switch to new models, to new tools, to new habits. But then you realize how lucky we've been, because I've been in touch with many other companies, and some of them had problems because they could not go to their office, or they were scared to go to their office, and they had their files in their servers physically in the office. This was totally crazy for me, because I'm used to that. But yes, I think we need to push for it now. Yeah.
No, it's tough. Now, luckily for both of you, you haven't had to shed headcount, and for most of the industry, I'm very cautious not to use right sizing or downsizing, but it's a practical sizing because of the amount of aircraft and services that are being withdrawn from the from the industry. So I'm sure, and from knowing you both personally and your businesses, there was an awful lot of like multi or cross training and upskilling with all of your people, so that there was flexibility there. What are you doing to prepare yourselves for a second wave, should it come? Have you got contingencies in place to separate the workforces so that they don't cross over and integrate, and that they're available just in case of infections? Have you done any mitigations in those areas, Christopher?
Yeah, so what we have done, and of course we have a weekly COVID committee. So every week we are judging the situation from the scratch, and we have a kind of a risks. So this was created last couple of months. We evaluate the situation, what measures needs to be put in place. And also, of course, in the last couple of months, we were able to release some of the measures. And now we are getting again to a situation now when we talk about the flu time, it's getting colder. How we can, I guess this is the most critical part now, because how we want to detect, do the staff have a normal flu, or is he maybe infected? And so there we expect a lot of challenges, and especially also for the staff which are coming home from their leave. We put in a lot of measures in terms of that we need to control in the logbook everybody who's coming back from leave. There are certain things the staff need to provide to us in order to be sure that there will nothing be happened. But you need to think about so many things. Yeah, you need to think about the staff who go out to have a smoke. Yeah, so this stuff you need to separate. Yeah, so we need to install separations for these areas, that you don't bring warehouse workers together with maybe admin workers together, that in case of infection, you have the warehouse affected and the administration affected. So these are all the things we need to put into a discussion. And I guess finally we set up the whole system like it is today, that we are able to separate as much as we can. You cannot do it 100%. You will be never able to bring all of the people not together, because they need to work and they need to communicate.
Yeah.
But we did it in the best way we can, and until today it worked out. But of course, we need to review week by week how it will be developed now in the next couple of months, and that we survive, let's say, the next wave, the potential next wave. Nobody knows if it will come or not. But until now, we need to say that that we have the right measures in place, and in case of, we have some other business contingency measures which we can activate immediately.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Another question for you, Barbara. With regards to options now and reducing touch points and also congestion at airports, etc., are you guys looking at, services whereby you do collect and drop for forwarders? Are you looking at, reducing the interface as much as possible?
Can you please rephrase your question? I mean, what kind of services?
Like instead of having the forwarders come in, as and when they need to come to your premises, are you offering services like, collection, like milk runs or pick and drop for certain?
No, actually not, because what we are experiencing and what we have experienced also due to the layout in our warehouses and the way we have put in place prevention measures also at delivery points and pickup points. We have, after the first weeks, we have, I think, streamlined it, and we have felt no major need for changing our operations, and we are not experiencing major congestions or issues with this. So the model is not changing as long as the entire community has got used to the prevention measures, which we kept unaltered during the summer as well, and we will keep doing so. We felt no need for major changes. So what we have seen in the past has been disruption in our operations. Now it's back on track. We've had the Army and the Red Cross in our warehouses during the big wave of incoming PPEs and face masks. Now I have to say that during the summer, also in Rome Fiumicino, where we had a major drop in volumes due to the cancellation of passenger flights, we are living a new normality. We're back on usual business. So the prevention measures are now matching our former operations habits, and also the warehouse layouts are matching the requirements. So we're not expecting to make major changes to the way we work.
Okay, thank you.
Given the fact that the prevention measures and the people's attitude have completely changed, so it's not about layouts, it's not about warehouse, it's not about things. It's about people and how aware they are, how much attention they pay to what they do in every single moment. So
okay,
at this stage, that's it.
Thank you very much. And Christopher, anything new, or Are you doing anything differently? And you know, are the forwarders appreciative now of, you know, maybe bringing the cargo a little bit earlier so that they can be, you know, preload, direct loading instead of last minute for cut-off times, etc.?
So it's during March, April, and May, we were in constant contact with the main forwarders, especially because of the PPE inbound. And we, with one or the others, we agreed on certain things that we bypass our warehouse in order to make or speed up the operations. And also when we are talking about BOP, it makes sense, yeah, that we bypass the warehouse and that we relieve our warehouse capacity at that time. And it was a short time we did this, and now, as Barbara said, we are also back on track. So there's no congestion at our warehouse. It's a normal operation, so there's nothing what we need to do now. But I agree with you that the, let's say, truck slot management system is something which we put on the agenda. It is used already from our competition at Frankfurt Airport, and it is something which we definitely want to implement in the next couple of months, because this is something, when we talked about the supply chain, GHAs are still used as storage. Still, and so this creates a constraint, and which at the end result and affect the other supply chain partners and sometimes themselves who create the problem. So therefore, we need to tackle this, and therefore digitalization is there. So in order or there is a possibility to tackle it. So we need to use it, because otherwise it will never change. And we need to be considered and recognized as a throughput facility. So it should be a very quick throughput, and not storing cargo for days in our warehouse, putting constraint, making out of our warehouse a bottleneck. And at the end, it affects the entire supply chain members. So therefore, this is something we put on the agenda for 2021 because it's absolutely needed. Yeah,
exactly. Can I ask you both now, there's an awful lot of talk about when the vaccines are going to be available and how they're going to be distributed at first. Are they going to be deep frozen? Are they going to be 2 to 8? What's the situation? How have you, as an organisation and your respective airports, looked at the capability, with the understanding and the learnings from the PPE, that there may well be an awful lot of storage required before distribution? How well prepared are you with your respective airports, Christopher?
So we started yesterday to build new cool chambers. This investment was planned pre-COVID, but it's the right timing. We begin the entire investment plan end of last year, and then COVID came in March, so the entire approval process with the authorities was delayed. And finally, we received end of August the final approval from the authorities, and we started yesterday with building the new cool chambers in our warehouse. So a total of 3 new cool chambers will be built, giving us 1,500 cubic meter more storage capacity for 2 to 8, 15 to 25 degrees. But also we have the possibility for frozen. So this is something which this investment was really at the right time, and I guess we will be prepared by end of October latest with additional capacity we can provide to our airline customers. So, and we will recognize already that pharma is increasing. It is really, you can see it day by day how it increased, and also our customers alert us already that there will be a big need of this capacity in the next couple of months. And therefore, we of course try to find also ways how we can deal with situations where our capacity will be maybe constrained, in order to get some partnerships, in order to get the overflow handled. But by now, with the new cold chambers, we see not a big issue that we can't handle it. Yeah.
Okay, and there's a good coordination going on there with the airport as well, yeah, with everybody.
Yeah. Else. So this is something I'm in constant contact with Roland Weil. You know him, I guess.
Yeah. Very well.
So he's, or we are talking on a permanent basis, and he's also checking the capacity of a farmer in each and every warehouse in order to bring it onto one map that the airport can show. Okay, this is the maximum capacity we can handle, and which gives more transparency to the airlines and also to the four-wheelers what Frankfurt is capable to do. Yeah,
exactly. Collectively, well done.
Yeah,
Barbara, from your perspective.
Same for us. We are seeing, and this is absolutely positive. We are seeing collective actions in place both in Rome Fiumicino and in Milan Malpensa, since the airport authorities are establishing task forces specifically for getting prepared and ready for the big challenge of the COVID vaccine distribution. On our perspective as a company, we feel quite confident about our infrastructures since our facilities already have what we assume is enough capacity, and also we have already prepared our action plans in case of sudden increase of demand, sudden and important increase of demand. For we plan to switch the destination of our cool rooms and cold rooms that we currently use for fresh. So in case that a big wave of vaccine distribution is expected, we can switch what we currently use for other type of products and adjust the temperature according to the requirements. Of course, what we are reading these days about minus 80 Celsius degrees is scary, but we're keeping the situation monitored. We are making sure that also our capabilities and our staff is fully ready to handle huge amounts of active containers. But well, we feel quite confident with that. Last week we have just few days ago, we have handled an entire charter flight to Belo Horizonte with 1.5 million of vaccines for meningitis C. Well, we are working on that. We are making our homework and making sure that we can do anything we can. And airport authorities are doing good coordination and making hypotheses also in alternative solutions for adding extra capacity. Also, what makes us feel very confident with that is that we are equipped and we use cool dollies both in Milan and Rome. This is something we already have in place. Of course, it's an extra and I think an added value when it comes to give good services in terms of temperature control. And we'll see what happens. But yes, we're closely monitoring the situation. Yes, for sure.
I've seen the units that you've manufactured as well. So
yes, we have manufactured these cool boxes, and we just sent 2 cool boxes to Frankfurt. To Fraport has bought 2 cool boxes, and I am so proud of that because our workshop completed them during the lockdown. They started working on that at the beginning of the lockdown, and they were delivered just a couple of weeks ago. They're currently being tested, and they will soon be used in Frankfurt. So yes, we're proud of that.
Big shout out to the guys. Well done. Right, guys. Now we're coming near the end, and I've got a little set of questions to ask for you. So very quickly, okay, Christopher, I need 3 things that you, from your position and your organisation, would be committed to collaborate on or to provide to the community or the supply chain. So 3 things that you would like to or would do for the community.
So first of all, actually the top 3 things in our industry is safety, safety, safety. So, but of course we are committed to safety. It's not safety only for our staff, but also safety for our airline customers. So we are here to provide the best possible quality and safety at the end of the day. We will never compromise on that. And we are committed to digitalization. As I said before, our eSchool Academy is also received the Stevie Award recently, because it's a really, really good tool, and we are using it for so many things inside the company. And of course, communication. So we are open, and this is what I also said to the community. Celebi is open to communicate entirely. We need to find best practices. We need to share best practices. It's we are all competition. We all understand, but at the end of the day, we need to serve our industry with the best possible quality and service. So I guess it's not a shame then if you make some communication with your competition. You can learn from each other, and at the end of the day, it will help the entire industry. Yeah. So
100%.
These are the three top things I would mention.
Very good, 100%. And Barbara, your three?
I would say first and most important for us is business continuity.
Yeah.
Being able to keep operations alive during those months has been a reason of pride for all of us. We felt essential to the community. We've been delivering PPEs and healthcare equipment when our country needed them. So I think that now more than ever, we feel the importance of our job.
Yeah.
We feel how essential this industry is for the entire community. Yeah. So this is something we need to guarantee not only our customers, but we felt this kind of, responsibility, global responsibility. Second, of course, engagement and safety for our staff. Again, we sort of changed approach to the way we communicate themes like safety and the importance of adequate safety behaviors with our staff. This has taught us the importance of how people should feel part of the safety process, because they are the primary actors in this. So yes, safety and engagement, involving people and making feel them part of this.
Very good, very good.
Is. And the third one is support to digitalization. This is something we are doing and we have been doing for years. Some of my colleagues that are working on this, and we will keep doing this. So we will support these initiatives as much as we can, and see what will happen. Yeah.
Very good, very good. And Christopher, just to finish now, please, 3 things that you would like to see the community or regulators or, any bodies that were representative, anything that would be able to be done to make your lives easier or more productive. What would you like as 3 issues?
So when we think about the actual situation and what I told before regarding our cool chamber investment, one very important thing is, I guess, from the authorities is that investments or constructions to get the approval much quicker, because it supports the business, and the bureaucracy needs to be reduced in order to get certain investments which are really critical quickly approved, and not to delay certain approval processes for no reason, because most of the time it's for no reason. Certain things are very heavily delayed. And therefore, this is one thing I definitely request from the authorities. But on the other hand, what we all know is that cargo gets recognized as a critical sector, and that everybody understands that we are a critical part of the infrastructure from each country. So it's not the food will not come to your supermarket without us. It will not be like that certain machinery of industry sectors will get their spare parts without us. So therefore, it's everybody needs to recognize the people who worked in hospitals, police. That's a given. guess the cargo sector was for many years not recognized, and also that the airports now recognize cargo much more. And I really hope that in the future cargo will be much more supported on various sectors. Yeah.
And last one.
So last one, when we think about, for example, the curfew restrictions we have in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
I guess we all know that Frankfurt have difficulties in order to get certain flights because of curfew. So we are losing a lot of volumes going through other airports in Europe, coming from Germany, moving into other cities around Germany. But I guess this is something we need to think about, because when we don't open the curfew for cargo flights, then Frankfurt will become sooner or later not that attractive. So Frankfurt is the middle of Europe, is the middle of Germany, so have a very good location for distribution. So Frankfurt should recognize this, and we should expect from the authorities more flexibility. I don't say we need to give up the entire curfew, but to give at least more flexibility on the curfew restrictions in order to be more attractive in the market.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. All valid points. And Barbara?
What I expect from airport authorities now, especially in Milan and in Rome, seeing what we expect to see with the COVID vaccine distribution, is to act collectively and to really support the players at the airport with great coordination. So I do hope that this will be taken as a great opportunity. You know that the Oxford vaccine in Rome is expected, the Oxford vaccine is expected to be produced in Pomezia and Anagni, which are two small cities south of Rome. So this could mean a lot, and it could be a very big challenge. So I expect and I hope it will be taken as a great opportunity and very well coordinated by airport authority.
Okay.
Second point is I would like to see again in the future, and to continue seeing what we have seen in the past 6 months from other authorities. I have to say, and I have to mention that what we have seen by the customs agency, especially in Milan, has been outstanding. They've done a great job. They've been extremely reactive, supportive, and we've seen people working 24 hours a day, and I think they made a difference during the emergency. So I hope we can see this kind of effectiveness lasting over the years, and the same goes also for some kind of flexibility, which has allowed to react effectively to the situation. And well, the third one again is coming back to airport authorities. I hope that in case new emergencies will come, they could act more as a catalyst for initiatives and preventive actions. I mean, this is something I have to mention. We have been leading ourselves protection initiatives for our staff. I would have been happy to see something more in Milan. So I hope that in case we will have to face big disruptions like the one we have seen in the past, we could rely more on a collective response guided by the airport authorities.
Okay, very, very, very good. Guys, listen, thank you so much. We're coming to the end of the session now. Really appreciate your feedback, your comments, and a little bit of insight into the day in the life, or a day in the life of a piece of cargo from both Alha and Celebi's perspective. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And again, big recognition and respect for all of the people that have done so well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.